What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 172 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast on this Thursday, July 16th, 2026. I'm your host, Zach Malum. But before we get started, please subscribe below. Follow all of my social accounts. Let's start things off in the world of baseball as we welcome everybody back from the All-Star break. Both New York teams back in action this weekend, and we start things in Queens as the New York Mets. If you thought it was tough before the All-Star break, wait till you hear the schedule after the All-Star break. It starts out with a series at Citizens Bank Park this weekend, followed by a series on the road against the Milwaukee Brewers, and then they welcome three tough teams to Citi Field: the Los Angeles Dodgers, the back-to-back champs, the Atlanta Braves, first place in the NL East, and of course the Miami Marlins, who were one of the hottest teams in baseball heading into the All-Star break. Not an easy stretch, 5 consecutive series where could be a long series, each of them, for the New York Mets, but it starts tonight, and it's a 7 o'clock start out at Citizens Bank Park down in Philadelphia, where the Phillies, faithful, coming off of an All-Star weekend. They really loved it down there, an All-Star week as well, and really great scene down at Citizens Bank Park. But back to baseball here, where the Phillies sit 11 games over 500 versus the Mets, who are 17 games under 500, and the Mets will send Christian Scott out onto the mound tonight. The righty is 2-1 with a 3.17 ERA this season. He's been really, really good in his last couple of starts. And then looking on the other side, it's Aaron Nola, who has not been good this year. 3-6, 5.75 ERA. However, against the Mets this year, of course, he pitched solid enough, and the Phillies ended up winning the game last time out. So looking at it, the Phillies should breeze through this series, but what you're looking for from the Mets in the second half of this season is just the development of that outfield. You have 3 stars, it looks like, in that outfield. Carson Bench, Juan Soto, and AJ Ewing should be the Mets outfield for the future, and you're looking for those 3 guys to really step up for the second half of the season. Just keep doing what they're doing no matter what the result is of the games in the end. In the end, the Mets are 17 games under for a reason. I think looking at their pitching, that's really where it's going to tell the story, because it seems that Freddie Peralta is probably at the door in the next couple of weeks by the end of the trade deadline. They also got a couple more options that they can dish out, one of them being Clay Holmes, who was so good for the Mets early this year. Obviously, the fractured right fibula against the Yankees on May 15th. Looking for him to be back into the rotation, but he may not be if the Mets want to get the value right there and then and trade him somewhere else. They would get prospects in return, and that's something right now that the Mets do not have, is prospects. They look at their minor league system, and there's really nobody that they can bring up right now that's ready for the major leagues. And looking at the guys that they brought up already, Benj, Ewing, McClain, of course, are the top 3. I think they've been pretty solid so far, and obviously they've had their struggles, all of them, in certain spots, but I think in the end, that's the team of the future. Those 3 guys are part of the future of the New York Mets, so looking for more from them, but also looking to try and build up this farm system back to what it should be, an above-average farm system, and then you absolutely pair that with a championship-level roster. They don't have either one of those right now, so they are looking to turn it around, and it all starts right now as the Mets take on the Phillies. 7 o'clock tonight, Christian Scott, Aaron Nola. Make sure you tune in all series long, down in Philadelphia. But let's shift things to the other side of New York, where the New York Yankees, coming off of the All-Star break, also in action, but they're not in action till tomorrow. They will host the 2-time defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers out at Yankee Stadium this weekend. What a battle it will be, a rematch of 2024's World Series, and the Yankees 12 games over 500, and you're saying, wow, that's pretty good. And then you look at the Dodgers, who are 25 games over 500, blowing out everybody in the National League West this year and blowing out everybody in the National League. 25 games over 500. It's still undecided who's going to be on the mound for either one of these teams tomorrow and all weekend long. The pitching matchups have not been let out yet, but we'll see who it is. It should be some high-level baseball here, as, of course, Aaron Judge still on the IL, so we won't see him and Shohei Ohtani go to battle at Yankee Stadium this weekend. However, Ben Rice has been pretty damn good. 29 home runs, 279 average so far this year, and he's been great for the Yankees. Looking for Cody Bellinger, who did win the All-Star Game MVP in his third All-Star Game. He ends up getting the All-Star Game MVP. We're looking for Cody Bellinger to step up in the second half. It's been a bit of a struggle early on this season, not the peak Cody Bellinger that a lot of Yankee fans were hoping for when he signed that deal to come back in the offseason. Only 11 home runs, 51 RBIs. He's batting .254, and the slugging right now is at .421. So he's looking to push all those numbers up and have a really good second half. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a tough one for the Yankees coming out of the All-Star break. They end up facing the Dodgers, and it should be a great one. Make sure you tune in all series long. The Yankees end up playing the Pittsburgh Pirates at Yankee Stadium early next week, and then they go down to Philadelphia for a 3-game set, but it all starts tomorrow. 7:05 start. We'll see who's on the mound for both teams. What a battle between the Yankees and the Dodgers out at Yankee Stadium. And let's finish things off today in the world of soccer, as we had 2 monster games in the last couple of days here in the United States. And what a match it was yesterday. We'll get to that in just a minute. But looking back to Tuesday's game, where in the end, a team that shouldn't be an underdog too many times was the underdog in this game, and they proved all the doubters wrong. Spain taking on France down in Arlington, and it's the Spanish side that comes out with a 2-0 win. Mikel Oyarzabal ends up having the penalty in the 22nd minute, and it followed with Pedro Porro in the 58th minute, getting the deciding goal. It's 2-0 Spain, and that's how they win it. Great stuff from Spain all game long. They really took it to this French national team that has a lot of firepower on all different parts of the field, but they really proved that once they get that early goal, they are the toughest team in the entire planet to go up against when they are up a goal. It's very tough to get around them because their midfield really takes it to their opponents. They don't sit back and park the bus for 50 minutes or so after a goal. They attack at every single point, and they're still on the counterattack, pressing their opponents. Great stuff from Spain in this game. They end up getting a 2-0 win down in Arlington, and it really was a shocker to a lot of people because France looked unbeatable for most of this tournament. They came into the game scoring 16 goals and just allowing 2 to their opponents all tournament long. And looking at it in the end, Spain upsets the favorites with France on the other side. But Spain won the Euros just a couple of years ago. They are a dominant team when it comes to European tournaments. They've been dominant in years past, and this is not too much of a surprise. It is a surprise from the standpoint of looking at France's roster and what they have at their capability, but Spain is no slouch, and Lamine Yamal and company really proved that in this one. Give credit to Spain for really taking it to the, of course, World Cup champions back in 2018, a team that made it to the final and lost on penalties in 2022. They end up knocking out France in the semifinal, and Spain is back into the final for the first time in a long time. You got to go all the way back to 2010. That was the last time Spain won it, and that was also the last time they were in the World Cup final. So congratulations to Spain. They end up defeating France 2-0 on Tuesday. Then you go into Wednesday's game. What a battle it was down in Atlanta. And it just seems that at any moment when you think Argentina is out of a game, the man himself, the magic man, Lionel Messi, just shows up when his team needs him to. He comes up with 2 crucial assists after Argentina goes down 1-0. Anthony Gordon with the goal for England in the 55th minute. But then it was the magic man, like I said, Lionel Messi steps up with a couple of assists, one to Enzo Fernandez, who scores an absolute belter into the back corner past Jordan Pickford, an 85th minute goal, followed by a 90+2 minute goal from Lautaro Martinez to give Argentina the lead and change this game and turn this game on its head in the span of 7 minutes. Stoppage time goal to send Argentina back to the World Cup final. What a game it was in the end down in Atlanta. But looking at Argentina and what they were able to do when they go a man down, I think some of it has to do with England and their strategy in this game. When they score a goal, they sat back. They put on defenders, a lot of defenders in this game. They ended up playing 5 at the back for the last 40 minutes or so. And that hurt you in this game. It killed them in the end. Their focus was defensively in this tournament and leadership, and they had none of either one of them, and they end up bowing out in the semifinal. Really hurt these English fans who thought it was finally their year. Something felt right with these English fans, and they just cannot get over the line. It's been a long time. 1966 was the last time, and the wait's going to go a little bit longer as England bow out in the semifinal. And just questionable tactics from the manager and Thomas Tuchel, who is going to manage England in the Euros in a couple of years. He's staying as the England manager, which is a surprise decision. A guy who has been around the block in European football and looks like he might end up going for another job. But no, he says, I'm going to stay with England for a couple more years and stay out of the club game, stay in the international game, and lead England to hopefully a European championship in a couple of years. But right now, I think the biggest problem for England is this. It just, every single time they seem like they're about to get over the line, they just have a letdown and something goes wrong. This one, it was the defense and sitting back. That was just a tactical decision that hurt them in the end. And of course, a team like Argentina that was going in attack on waves time and time and time again, just attacking this England back line. You cannot hold them for so long. And Argentina proved that in the end. A couple of great goals. Enzo Fernandez, then Lautaro Martinez. But all of it comes down to Lionel Messi. And he just surprises people once again. It's really not that much of a surprise anymore with how lethal he is in these big moments. He just absolutely grabs these moments by the throat every single time. There hasn't been a moment in his career where he hasn't stepped up when the moment is the brightest and the lights are the brightest. He absolutely carries this team on his back for a long portion of this tournament, and he did it once again. 2 assists when it mattered the most, and Argentina is on to the final, the World Cup final, taking place on Sunday. It's at MetLife Stadium out in New Jersey, and we'll see what happens with Argentina and Spain. It's a 3 o'clock start out at MetLife Stadium. Spain against Argentina, Lamine Yamal against Lionel Messi. I think it's going to be a great matchup between 2 dominant teams and 2 teams that really played together very well. 2 teams that have won their respective tournaments. When you look at Argentina, and they won Copa America. They've won the South American Championship there. They've also, on the other side with Spain, won the European Championship. I mean, great matchup here. 2 dominant sides in world football, and we'll see what happens as Spain takes on Argentina. Make sure you tune into this game, 3 o'clock on Sunday. It should be a great one. And I think the matchup of Yamal against Messi, of course, the young Lamine Yamal playing for Barcelona, of course, Lionel Messi, 39 years old, but still thinking every day about his time back in Barcelona. Just, it's a crazy sight to see. La Masia is really stepping up here, and it's all about Barcelona in this final. Spain against Argentina, Yamal against Messi. We'll see what happens. Make sure you tune in to what will be a phenomenal final at MetLife Stadium, 3 o'clock on Sunday. But that will do it for episode 172 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast. Please subscribe below. I've been Zach Malama. Thanks for watching, and talk to you all on Monday.